Hi guys, Kimmy here. I hope you guys are doing amazing today. We are back with another YouTube video, but this video is going to be a little different because in this video, I'm going to be sharing my experience as a boutique owner for the last 12 months. Next week is going to be our 1-year anniversary. All the link to Kimmylovesit Boutique, the email list, how to get to the shop will be listed down below. But what I wanted to do in this video is be a little more impromptu and also to talk about just what I've learned being a boutique owner, a style blogger turned boutique owner in the last year. Just in case you wanted to start a boutique and you just had reservations about it, or you just wanted to hear what I had to say. Okay, so there are things that I wish I had done before I started my brand, my boutique. And Kimmylovesit Boutique is an online boutique that started based off of my experiences as a style blogger. I basically was an ambassador for other companies, basically working for them, selling their clothing. And so I've always had a dream to kind of have my own business. And so I decided to open up my own boutique and start to sell and curate my own fashion. So what we're going to do in this video is attempt to share with you everything that I have learned in the 12 months. And hopefully this will make your journey of starting a boutique even better, okay, even smoother. All right. So first thing, there are going to be 10 things that I'm going to share with you today. The first one being, before I started my boutique, I wish I had had a pre-launch and collected emails. So I kind of was one of those people that collected my emails as I go. I still collect them as I go. But I've learned from experiences and through mistakes that a lot of times when you start a brand, you want to pre-launch. The reason why pre-launching is important is because you want people to have sort of build up anticipation about your brand, and you also want people to get an idea of what your brand is about and build awareness. So one of the ways you can do that is to sort of do sneak peeks, kind of set it up where something like guess what's coming, maybe put on a cute outfit and do a little teaser, TikTok or something like that, and then have an area or a link tree, particularly a link tree, where someone can click the link and then sign up for your email list. I should have done this from the start, but I didn't really know any better and I learned along the way. So I'm telling you, if you're starting a boutique and you're thinking about it, go ahead and set up your socials and start with a pre-launch to start collecting emails and text message phone numbers for text messaging as well, okay? Tip number 2, know your brand. Know your brand, know your ideal customer. When I first started, I didn't really get that. I just figured I was selling to women, right? I'm a woman, I love clothing, I love makeup, I love fashion, I love hair. But that's not really an ideal for me. That's just what I like. That's just my personal interest, right? But when we talk about niching and talk about your ideal customer, it has to align with your brand. So it took me a couple of months to kind of really narrow down how old my ideal customer was, where they were in their life, what type of clothing they were, what was their day-to-day activity like. So when you are deciding to start your own brand, you really need to take the time. And I know it's a little annoying because in our heads, we think we know, but we really don't know. So you really need to sit down and write it out or talk to someone that's close to you who can really kind of jog you, give you keywords that really tell you who your ideal customer is. Okay, so that is very, very important. Now, you might ask, okay, Kimmy, why do I need to know my ideal customer? Well, that's gonna help you just craft your brand. So it's my opinion that as a boutique, you're constantly changing. Therefore, your brand is constantly changing. Your customer is constantly changing. So you've got to be able to adapt to that, especially if you're a trendy boutique and you're trying to kind of stay ahead of what's trending, right? So you kind of got to make sure you understand how old they are, where they are in their life. And let me just add a little bit more to that. Knowing your ideal customer and knowing how they align to your brand also helps you market your products, okay? So if you're doing a crop top and you don't know how old the customers are in your customer base, then you may end up wasting money by marketing to someone who doesn't wear crop tops. So you see what I'm saying? So make sure that you know who your ideal customer is. You need to really find the niche. And if you run Facebook ads or TikTok ads or Instagram ads, you'll start to pick it up. So from my experience, I really began to understand my ideal customer when I ran ads that basically didn't work. I started seeing who was actually clicking my ad. I started seeing what age groups I was actually targeting, and then my ads got better. So here's the other thing, little gem I want to drop. I'm 43. Typically, you're only going to market to people 10 years younger or maybe a few years after, right? So my market, if I'm honest, is anyone from 33. Actually, I could probably do 20, I'd say 28 to 43. So I stop at my age. So you have to think about things like that. There is no way that you can actually market to everybody. Unless you're selling iPhones or Androids or something. If you're doing the boutique clothing, you probably can't appeal to every age group. Most boutiques can't do that. So you need to kind of figure out how old are the women that are purchasing your product. So those are things that are important. And all of that aligns to your brand. If your brand appeals to a certain age group, try to figure out why. And then use that information to push your TikToks or your Instagram reels or whatever you're doing to market your product. Use that to push your brand, okay? Next thing, sample products. Okay, if you are a boutique owner, I am here to tell you, you have to purchase product. I'm not saying that you have to purchase product every single week. I'm not even telling you to purchase 10, 15 pieces at a time, but you have to know that your product, what it feels like, what it fits like, what it's made of. You need to be able to speak to that because your customer is going to want to know, and believe me, they're going to ask questions. So they need to be able to know what the product is. And this is really important for those of you, including myself, who do something called drop shipping. Drop shipping is really cool. It allows you to get access to lots of vendors and lots of clothing styles. However, you can't just put all these, you gotta try the product. I mean, I use stock photos. There's nothing wrong with using stock photos, especially when you're getting started. But the truth of the matter is people want to see your product in real life people, on real regular people. So you have to make sure that you are sampling the products. If you don't know what your product feels like, it's going to be very hard to sell. And you can't sell a product that you are not comfortable with, okay? The other thing is, in addition to sampling, the other benefit to sampling products, shipping. So if you do drop shipping, shipping is important. Like you need to know when your customers are going to get the product so you can communicate delays or inconsistencies in shipping or whatever it might be happening. And this is very true in COVID, right? So we're still in COVID, and so shipping is affected by COVID. You know, you might be shipping out of a warehouse where one week everybody was fine, the next week 2 or 3 people got sick and it was a COVID spreader. So you have to think about that as well when you are thinking about drop shipping or providing product to someone else. Next thing, you want to keep your cost low, all right? When you first start, you know, we all hear that saying, it takes money to make money. Y'all, I'm here to tell you it does. I spend money on a lot of different things, so I'm always looking for ways to keep my costs low. Depending on the type of business you have, if you're starting an online boutique, you're probably going to have domain name fees. You might have website fees. You might have marketing fees. You might have sample product fees. All these different things come into play and can make having a business a whole nother bill. So you really want to be careful with what you agree to when it comes to your boutique. Some things, honestly, honey, you really don't need. Like, for example, when I first started my boutique, I wanted these fancy bags. I had to check myself because at the beginning, I didn't even really have inventory to even need bags, right? So you have to decide what is it that you really, really need to run your business. I'm going to advise you to start off with the minimum, okay? Get it as you grow and get it when you can afford it, all right? So as your profits increase, yeah, you might purchase something. As your profits grow, you might reinvest in your business a little bit more. But in the beginning, keep it sweet, keep it simple. A simple formula will often take you further than a complicated situation. So if you know you just need the basic free Shopify plan, then just use that. If you want to use Winks and they offer a free package, use the free package. You don't have to always pay for these expensive packages and apps and features if that's not really where you are in your business. And it's okay. It's okay to not have all the bells and whistles. It's not about the bells and whistles. It's about your bottom line, making profit, selling, and then giving your customers a positive shopping experience. Create a policy and stick to it. When I first started, y'all, my policy was kind of crazy, especially my return policy. I was doing all kinds of stuff. One point, I think I got scammed. So you have to make sure that you don't let your feelings get in the way of business. Like, it's not personal. Have a return policy, put it on your website, post it everywhere, go live with your audience, let them know what your return policy is. Do whatever you have to do to communicate to your customer what your policies are, because you're gonna need to stick to the guns. The more firm your policies are, the smoother your business will run. So I'm telling you right now, get your return policy and your shipping policy and your exchange policy, all of that written down in front of you, post it on the wall. So take a screenshot on your phone so that you can have it verbatim, so that no one can question you, no one can sort of challenge your policy because they already knew the policy before they purchased the item. In my particular store, my return exchange policy is embedded in my products. So even while you're checking the product, checking the sizes, you're gonna see my policies. So all of those are things to think about when you are creating your brand, when you're building your boutique and you're structuring out your business. The more clear you are in your policy, the easier the shopping experience for your customer. Multiple vendors. Okay, so at first it does seem kind of hard. When you're just starting out, you don't really always know where to go, who to purchase clothes from, who to feature on your website, what kinds of things do you want to sell. Not everybody has that luxury of just finding a vendor right away. Not everybody is able to go to Vegas and all the trade shows and find vendors. So sometimes it really does take trial and error. But with all of that being said, it is important, and I'm going to strongly suggest that you have multiple vendors. And the reason is because people change, right? And companies change too. So let's say, for example, company A used to sell off-the-shoulder dresses that you loved in the beginning. I mean, that was their thing. The shipping was good. The quality was there. You loved the product. Your customers loved it. But then all of a sudden, they decided they're not selling or marketing to you off-the-shoulder dresses anymore. What do? If that's the only vendor you have, girl, you are stuck. But if you're smart, you're going to have vendor B over here, company B. And in company B, they might have off-the-shoulder jumpsuits, right? So then you can switch, okay? So I'm going to tell you, my magic number is 5. If you can have at least 5 vendors that you get your items from, then more power to you, because then you'll always be ahead of the trend. You always have something unique to offer your customer, and you'll always be able to offer them a positive shopping experience, especially if you vet the companies, you sample the products, you know what your customers are going to get. And with that being said, that also goes back to ordering samples. You have to try it out. That is the best way to sell to your customer. If they know you are in love with this crop top, then they are going to buy it. It's just that simple. People come to boutiques for the experience, okay? People come to boutiques for the experience. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is social selling and social media. Now, this is a little bit of a dance. So I started social selling about a couple of months ago. I'm still new at it. I'm still working on it. It is a lot. It's very demanding. It's very time consuming, but it can be done. The other thing you want to think about, if you so choose to, now you don't have to run your boutique this way, but you could also use social media for selling as well. But again, it is a balance, because it takes time to take photos. It takes time to make TikToks. It takes time to make reels. It takes time to schedule posts to place on your social media contents, your platforms. So what I'm going to suggest to you in this case is make sure you get a scheduler. Facebook has a free scheduler. There's lots of free schedules out there because remember, you want to keep your costs low. So if you're just starting off as a boutique, excuse me, if you're just starting off as a boutique, keep your costs low. Your schedulers do not have to be paid subscriptions. Now I have a paid subscription for my schedule. I'm not going to say it here because they're not sponsoring this video, but if you want to find out what mine is, I'll let you know. But I used to use Facebook scheduler, but I don't like that one as much as I like the one that I pay for. But again, once I started making more money, I started buying into more applications and resources based on what I needed as a new business. All right, so the next advice I have for you is research, research, research. Y'all, YouTube has tons of resources that will help you run your business. If you're working on your website and you're stuck, there's lots of Shopify tutorials and videos on YouTube. It's free. If you need to design a logo, or maybe you need a banner, maybe you need a little image for your ads, your email blast. Everything is via YouTube, okay? So as a business owner, I'm going to tell you right now, every weekend, especially when I was working full time, I was on YouTube every Saturday, writing stuff down, saving videos, trying to figure out how to make my business run smoother. So as a boutique owner, you should always be listening to something positive. You should always be working on yourself mentally, because this is a very taxing journey to be on. And you should also be looking for ways through research to make your business stronger, whether it's finding out what the latest trends are, finding out about new vendors, whatever it is. Dedicate time to do the research, okay? There's nothing worse than talking to someone about their brand and they don't know anything about their brand. So do your research. Next thing, business coaching. Business coaching doesn't always have to cost you. This is another thing that if you look hard enough, you'll find people in your city that will do it for free. It could be your rich uncle or your rich auntie. It could be at the local college. Like I have a coach, she works at UNC Charlotte. So I was able to get a coach for free. So do your research. That's where that research comes into play. There are so many free small business resources out there. You just got to do the work. But I'm telling you, a business coach or mentor, someone who has done it or been there, done that, will always be able to help you, especially if they got a good heart and of course they have good intentions. All right, so last but not least, I'm going to encourage you to make sure you have a business checking and savings account. You do not want to mix your personal expenses with your business expenses. You want there to be a clear definition between what is business related and what is personal. When I first started my business, I was co-mingling everything, and I have a business, a checking account and savings, but I wasn't really using it as effectively as I should. So what I do now is I follow something called the Rule of Three. If you do not know what I'm talking about, go ahead and research it, girl, because it's going to change your life. But basically, it teaches me how to divide up my profit based off the Rule of Three. And so what certain money or certain portions of my profits go toward certain things. And because now I'm an LLC, that includes paying myself. So that's a way. So having a business checking and savings account allows me to effectively run my business and also save at the same time. Okay? Okay. So you guys, that is the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed the things that me sharing the things I've learned in the last couple of months from having a business. It is my 1-year anniversary of being a boutique owner, and I wanted to share this with you, which is important that I share this information because so many people I know dream of owning a boutique, and maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe you're in it right now and you don't know what to do. Hopefully these things help you get the ball rolling and get back on track. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to send me a message down below and let me know. I'm super friendly. I'll be able to help you and answer any of your questions that you might have. Don't forget to check out my boutique. Everything is down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on social media.